So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This Thursday, the 20th, instead of the usual Friday, because yours truly is going on an animal class for 3 days. So thank you for those of you that could make it today. Hope it didn't mess up anybody's routine. Clearly, those that are here, it didn't. So, so thank you anyway. Thursday seems to be a good alternative, I think, if I cannot find a substitute host. Maybe you can let me know if that's true. But anyway, my name is Terry Matthews. I've practiced Jin Shin Jyutsu for, well, nigh on 30 years, I think, and taught self-help for about that amount of time too. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a good day, and particular welcome to anyone who's brand new. Jin Shin Jyutsu is an art of harmonizing life energy as it moves through the body or not, in the sense that we can block our life force or chi or ki by our thoughts, the words we use, and our actions. Can you mute yourself? And with Jin Shin Jyutsu, which comes from Japan, a synthesis of many Asian modalities created by a master by the name of Jiro Murai. I emphasize a synthesis because in the books, it is often stated that it is an ancient art. Well, actually, it isn't. The principles are. Master Murai was a great synthesizer. He studied Chinese medicine, Yellow Emperor. He studied acupuncture. He studied different kinds of modalities, physical therapies, and he himself was a scientist. And he put these modalities together whilst exploring texts from the Koji-ki. And he created what became known as Jin Shin Jyutsu, the art of compassion, the art of longevity. And his leading student, if you like, Mary Burmeister from Seattle, Washington, was teaching English in Japan back in the war years, or just prior to the war years, Second World War. When she met Master Murai, and he noticed, I guess rather instantly perhaps, that Mary would be a capable channel for this information. I don't know whether he was aware that she was highly clairvoyant, but he certainly was. And word has it that Mary could actually have that faculty alive in her. So often when people were treated by Mary Burmeister, they felt she bullseyed them. The understanding is that she could see the energy as it went through the body, just like Master Murai. So we had a great lineage there, people that understood energy as it moved through the body, not just by studying textbooks, but could actually see it, and then understand the application of fingers, thumbs, palms, back of hands to what we call safety energy locks on the body, and which acupuncturists might call points. The major difference between us and acupuncture is the size and number of these points. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, we have 26 of these safety energy locks, left and right of the spine, 3 in the arms. And they're the diameter of the palm of your own hand, your specific hand. In acupuncture, they can be pretty tiny, like a pinprick, and there's maybe up to 500 or more. I'm not an acupuncturist. If Mark Hovis was here, he'd be more accurately describing the number. But anyway, the point is that they do the same. They regulate this flow of energy as it's moving through the body and help it release any blockages in these energy pathways that may accumulate. So Jin Shin Jyutsu in a nutshell, Jin Shin Jyutsu 101. So today, as we're moving through the constellation of Aries, the Ram, around about the 21st, which is tomorrow, or the 22nd, the constellation that the sun will mirror through to us will move to Taurus, the bull. which is the counterpart of Aries, the ram, and in JIN SHIN JYUTSU, it's second depth, lung and large intestine. So I thought I'd round off the journey of the lung with helping us explore simple self-helps to remove what is understood at the very foundational lumbar level, manifest level of the body, what can block the lung energy function from flowing congruently. And those of you that have studied JIN SHIN JYUTSU will be familiar with the 5-pointed lumbar circle, which represents the 5 lumbar vertebrae in the body in terms of the elements and how they interact with one another. They energize and support or burden. And so you don't have to have that circle with you, but I believe the JIN SHIN JYUTSU store does now sell that, the lumbar circle, to anyone, because it's a feature of the understanding in Asian body therapy, bodywork therapy, of how energy moves or not through the body. Interestingly, the Chinese version doesn't include the burdening, but the Japanese version, which is our JIN SHIN JYUTSU lumbar circle, does. Mary would call it the pre-pre or the previous energy to the energy that you are working through, affecting the energy that you need to harmonize. So those of you that are familiar will know that the lung can be released like from a burden if we harmonize kidney function energy and heart function energy. Isn't that interesting? The water and fire elements, the descending and ascending elements of the body. And if you're ever stuck just doing your lung flow, those of you that know it, and it doesn't seem to be moving much, you might want to look at the kidney function energy and or the heart. So today we'll practice the first 2 steps of each of those flows over a period of 36 breaths, which is how I like to practice self-help. 36 was the number that Mary Burmeister chose to describe how energy moved down from subtler realms to denser realms in the body, using the configuration of the number 9 4 times. And 9 in numerology represents end of a cycle, beginning of a new. So she used that to end one cycle of one dimension, to lead to another, to another, to another, as the energy gradually spun and wove its way around to create a manifested form. So if that's all confusing, good, because the mind thrives better when it has to research. And if numerology interests you, there are many great books on numerology out there in the market. So for now, let's embody JIN SHIN JYUTSU. Let's breathe out and in. In JIN SHIN JYUTSU, we emphasize the exhale before the inhale, although you're not going to be penalized if you inhaled before you exhaled. Most of us naturally do. But the idea is to empty ourselves by exhaling, letting go of what we no longer need in order to build something new. And so we do that by allowing breath to enter the body. And breath in this sense, we're going to look at not only as the oxygen, we're going to look at it as light, the big breath of light. As it enters the body at energy centers, moves energy through the body from head to toe and then from toe to head. It moves this light energy from the back of the head, which is safety energy lock 4, the window that lets in more light, moves down the front of the body to the 15 hip line area, down to the big toes, the number 7, and then it reverses. It's like the 7, which represents or is stated as victory, perfect life power, as a terminal. So like a bus terminal or a train terminal, you get off one platform and you get onto another train. But in this sense, you don't actually get off the 7, you just transition to a different frequency of the 7 as the energy moves up the back from the 7 back through the 15 and 2 hip line pelvic area back up to the 4. And energy moves in Jin Shin in a spiral, in a clockwise spiral down the front to the 7s, and then back up in a positive spiral from the 7s to the 4s. Energy in harmony apparently moves in a positive direction. Just reflect on that. If it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't matter. It's just what is understood, how we manifest more harmony, that the direction of energy magnetically will move this way rather than this way. So we'll begin with our 9 exhalation inhalations with the first step of the kidney flow. And you can choose left or right. Some of you will know by just feeling your kidneys which ones are sore. If the right kidney area, which is underneath the back of the rib cage there, is tender, you're going to need the left kidney flow, and vice versa. If the left kidney is sore, you're going to need the right kidney flow. And how do we do that? Well, I'm going to choose the left, and my left hand will actually go on my, my right hand will actually go on my left little toe, little pinky, and my right hand will go on my pubic bone. The reverse is true. If your left kidney was giving you a problem, your right hand's going to go on the pube, and your left hand is going to go on the right pinky toe. So choose which one you want from those possibilities. Those of you that can't reach your little toe, I'm going to suggest you just place that. If you're doing the left, you place your hand on what we call safety energy lock 8, which is underneath the knee. So those of you struggling with the pinky toe, go to your back of your knee. All right. In fact, I'll do that because it will save me having to scrunch around in this space. And you can hold it there because that whole area is going to connect with safety energy lock 1, where the kidney goes through, and it makes life a lot easier. In fact, if your fingers are on the 8, the thumb can be on the 1, which is the inside of the knee, and then you're going to get actually kidney and bladder. So hold that, whichever side you choose, and just breathe out. And as you breathe out, the energy moving from the 4 through the 15, through the 1-8, to the little toe, and then coming up from the little toe all the way back up through the pube, up to the front of the body. Kidney energy goes up the front and then back to the floor. And we'll do that 9 times. Here we go. There's no particular way of breathing in terms of in through the nose, out through the mouth, etc. Just do what's natural to you. And relax your shoulders. Let them sink down. So you're really feeling comfortable. No strain. As you're letting go of what you don't need, allowing the energy to move through any blockages in that kidney pathway, that part of the kidney pathway. And then inhaling cosmic purified energy to rebuild, to energize, to strengthen. And for those of you that are familiar with Jin Shin, we're waiting, although it's not something to be over concerned about, we are waiting to feel a pulse at both hands where they're placed on the body. That pulse feels like the blood pulse of the radial artery. And beneath that is the energy pulse. And then when we feel that, we know that those two places have connected. Kidney 1, which is the pad of the foot, is known as the great ground in traditional Chinese medicine. So this would help us connect to the earth beneath. Although in 5-element theory, you often hear that the earth element describing the stomach and spleen is the body's earth. Well, actually, physiologically, it's more likely to be the kidney energy, the water element, which goes down and connects with all the minerals in the earth. And then our body is 70% made up of water, actually. It's that movement of energy going down to the ground, water flowing down. So when you come to the 9th exhalation, inhalation, just remain as you are in the moment, in a neutral zone, and see how you feel, and notice how well the energy appeared to be flowing. If you felt the pulse, if you didn't, this gives you some idea of areas in the body that are flowing well, or perhaps not so well. In traditional Chinese medicine, the kidneys are said to snatch energy from the lungs. In JIN SHIN JYUTSU, they are the escape route. They are a major unburdener. So maybe you're feeling you can breathe more easily. Can you mute yourself? Please. Or I will. Okay. All right, so step number 2 from the kidney function energy flow, the left or right hand will remain on the pube, which represents our 6th depth main central, by the way, the last step of the main central, because the right hand goes on the coccyx, which represents 3rd depth. And we have a 6 and a 3 here. Down the front, up the back. This is the last step of the short hand version of the main central. And now we continue with 9 exhalation inhalations, pube and coccyx. Let us begin. It's not a race with the 9 exhalation inhalations. You allow the breath to take its own course in its own time. If you finish before me or I finish before you, just continue to connect. The energy is always there. For those of you that may feel a little fatigued, low energy, it's a very powerful way of pumping up the energy. The 6th depth, primal force coming down, 3rd depth meeting 3rd depth, which is energized by 6th depth to create all the other organ functions in the body. So you can imagine the liver has a very powerful role. And we've already talked about that in terms of spring and the awakening of energy as the chi moves up the shoots of plants. And Aries, the ram, of course, representing that power of the lung that allows that to happen in the body. The breath. Perhaps you notice if your metabolic rate is slowing down, you can receive deeper breath, deeper cosmic energy. And maybe with that comes a sense of peace and harmony as the energy starts removing blockages, feeding all the cells, helping them to work together more harmoniously. Exhaling, detoxing, inhaling, rejuvenating. Even though Master Mirage said in time everyone would learn the big non-secret secret of the fingers and toes, I would add, and it may have been said and I've just forgotten, but probably the biggest non-secret secret is actually the breath that's always with us, the light that surrounds us, the oxygen that we breathe in. working together to feed us. It's always there. So as we're harmonizing the kidney function energy in this way, notice if you feel a sense of greater flow. Energy likes to flow like water. And in this specific case, it is the water element, which is feeding all the cells, governing all the fluids in the body, the blood. Blood is just water plus all the different nutritional aspects that we need to feed ourselves with. And as you reach the 9th exhalation, the end of that cycle, exhalation, inhalation, again, just observe, notice how and what you feel. Is this a hold that you could benefit from doing more? Is it energizing you? Maybe you felt tired. You know, whatever the body needs to represent to you, it will. Our job is just to allow it to happen, I believe, without judgment. We can understand that these different safety energy locks are geared to create certain effects. But if the cause of our issue is not totally redeemed or harmonized, we may still feel a bit of fatigue or something. Don't lose heart, which, funnily enough, is the next flow that we're coming to. Because we're on a journey. Journeys arguably have no beginning and no end, but our minds like to have beginnings and end. But wherever we are on this spiral of energy moving through our body, it's all okay. It might not feel okay sometimes. And that's the emotional aspect that the human, and probably animal too, deal with, that sometimes slows our journey down because we get caught up with feeling not great, this, that, and the other. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the breath, when used to let go, will help us go through those emotional responses that are not supportive. So if we're feeling a little bit off, a little bit negative, we could say, out of harmony, out of whack, just do a few exhalation inhalations, and sooner or later, maybe more than 9 times to do it, sooner or later, the harmony constant will reverberate through us. And JIN SHIN JYUTSU can be done sitting, standing, or laying down. So if you really feel the need, adopt whichever posture is comfortable for you at the time. And if the body wants to sleep, let it. That's what it needs. All right, so that was the water element, releasing the lung if it's blocked. And then the heart organ function energy, the first 2 steps of the heart function energy will also unburden the lung too. And you can choose left or right. The first step of the heart flow to the left is put your left hand on your left shoulder and your right hand on safety energy lock 17, which is this little notch at the base of the pinky finger. And the pinky finger represents heart and small intestine, by the way. You choose which side you want to do. Normally, the tender side is a good place to start. The area that's most tender, whether it be here the 11 or here 17 or both, and then just anchor there on the 11 and with your hand on the 17 in that wrist area, pinky side of the pinky, and we'll begin our 9 exhalation inhalations again. Notice, do you feel your whole thoracic cavity maybe expanding now as we do this? If it is, this may be the flow that you need to enhance your lung capacity. So change along 17, the base of the pinky, calms the nerves. So if ever you're feeling very anxious, hold this. In traditional Chinese medicine, it's known as a source point, or if you like, that 9th depth, 8th depth energy enters the body. Like a substation. If the energy lock 11 here on the shoulder and the 17 work very well together. We're removing or transforming excess baggage at the 11 and calming our nerves at the 17. Great combination. All of you that may be feeling from time to time extra anxious, do this. It's understood in, again, traditional Chinese medicine that the heart governs the mind. So, any particular mental issues coming up for you, mental health issues, which include anxiety, worry, fears, all the attitudes actually. Calm the heart. A peaceful heart can lead to a peaceful mind. Don't think about it too much, just practice and experience it. Be your own testimony, Mary Burmeister would say. And then when you've reached the ninth exhalation, inhalation, again, go into a neutral zone and be the observer. How did that feel? And where did you feel it? Observing this way can help you understand how to read your own pulses, because a lot of people say, oh, I would love to be able to read my own pulses. And yes, you can do that on your wrist. But actually, pulses of energy are everywhere on the body. And just by observing how the energy is moving through your body, you can pick up many clues about what needs help, what needs harmonizing. And in fact, I would recommend that as possibly an easier way of reading your own pulses, noticing where and how you feel as the energy does or doesn't move congruently through the energy pathways in your body, or feeling sensations around certain parts of your body, certain organs, ligaments, tendons, wherever. They give you some clues about what might be happening or not. All right, so the second step of the heart organ function energy, if you were holding your right hand over your right shoulder and your left on the 17 like I am, you just take the hand that's holding the 17 and go across to the opposite 22, which is under the shoulder girdle. So from this notch at the base of the pinky to the opposite 22 under the shoulder girdle. If you are holding this one, you go to the right 22. And you might want to experiment after just holding one on one side. Maybe you can actually find that the 22 on the other side is actually more needy, which I just found. Strange but true? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you'd already harmonized the second step of the side of the flow that you'd begun with. So you go to the other one. What happened there? It was weird. Remember to feel the connection with the earth beneath, and that the pad of the feet I mentioned earlier, kidney 1, and the big toe. Just remind yourself that you're connecting heaven to earth. Feel the ground beneath. And how are you feeling after close on the 36 breaths? Are you feeling you've ended some kind of cycle to begin something new? Or maybe you have to continue this practice a few more times to feel that you've transformed something. Or maybe you didn't feel you needed to transform anything. You just wanted rejuvenation, just wanted to feel good. So again, as you come to the end of that 9th exhalation, inhalation, the 36 breaths, just observe. You can either keep your hands in the position they're in at the end, or you can just drop them into the 15s, filling our hearts with that heart energy of joy and laughter, perhaps. See how you feel. And remember, whereas all these safety energy logs have representations, we're unique in our journey and we may not feel some of those expressions. We may not. And that's okay. We be with what is in that moment. But I think it's important to emphasize that we continue with the exhale and the inhale, because that's what's moving the energy through our bodies to bring more harmony. If we suddenly decide, well, this didn't work, I'm not going to do this anymore, without experiencing some of these expressions, we may have missed something. So what I'm saying really is, don't get attached to results. The mind loves results. But the heart is looking for a sense of peace, harmony, serenity, if you like. And that, my friends, may be more powerful than anything that the mind can conjure up. Because once the heart is calm, it's that core energy that fundamentally harmonizes every other aspect of our being. So how was that? Anyone have any comments, any feedback, anything they'd like to share? Let's see who's around. Okay. Ah, Liz. Thank you. Yeah. You're welcome. So again, these are not practices that feeling groovy. Nice throwback to the 60s there, David. Oh, okay. Gabriella, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, hello. Thank you for unmuting me. I apologize. I don't sound very clever. I'm at the end of the day. It's late here and I'm extremely tired. It's been very taxing for the past few weeks. And I'm still working, yes, at 7 o'clock at night. But regarding what we just did, I just want to mention a very relaxing approach with the lung and the heart and the kidneys. And what I noticed where in the first 10-15 minutes when I was holding my right hand over the pubic bone, these fingers, so the index, the middle, and the ring one, they became painful. The first phalanges, painful. I do not know the meaning of that. Maybe it senses something that's not quite right. With
you know, Mary would always describe any kind of pain as stagnation of energy. And, you know, those fingers represent organ functions. Well, they have many associations. Yes. And when you hand your hand over the pube and then the other on the coccyx, moving up from the feet are the regeneration flows. You mentioned the index, so that represents kidney, bladder, the middle, liver. That's coming up from the big toe. The kidney's coming up from the little toe, which we've just done. And you said the ring finger?
Yes, as well. Yes.
Yeah, that represents on the depth level, that represents the lung and the large intestine. So I'm going to say that what happened there is a reminder to you that the lung energy was somehow activated, and the two energy fields that may need further support are liver and kidney. Now, liver can actually energize the lungs if I bring it back to the lumbar circle. So that's a perfectly reasonable result if you want to look at it that way. So you could simply just hold all those fingers one at a time, or I'm a great believer in experimenting, and I believe Mary was too. I don't think she felt we shouldn't experiment, even if she had written doing things in certain ways. And you could grab those three fingers with the thumb across like that. Yeah. Try that, you know, and see if that will capture those energy fields all at once and harmonize them.
I think, yes. Yeah. I will do that. I'm trying to hold my fingers like every night, but it's not for long because I'm just falling asleep.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm having these micro sleeps for seconds, and I don't know whether that is healthy. I don't think it is very healthy to have this when you are extremely tired, and then not to have the proper sleep during the night. So I wake up every 2 hours. And
well, you know, if this is not just catnapping, yeah, you're going to have to look at other aspects of your life to see if look at what's happening in your life, stress levels, what are you eating, what are you drinking, what are you thinking. If there's a lot of anxiety in your life, that may disturb the sleep pattern, but at some point the body will want to make that up, and it may knock you out when you don't particularly want to fall asleep. So carry on holding the fingers.
Thank you.
Left and right, until you begin to feel perhaps a shift. To help balance sleep, generally speaking, the heart flow is very good to do in itself, but you can also do the escape route for the heart, which is spleen. The spleen will calm the mind, it will calm the thinking. So experiment.
it is, I'm worried for somebody who is very dear to me, and he's been diagnosed with Parkinson's
Right.
after having a laser eye cataract and vaccines and all that because of work. So now he is really downhill very badly. So he's not here with me. He's in the US, like you are there. I'm thousands of miles away in the UK. So it's that worry and the thing that I cannot help.
Well, you can help, and you can invite him to hold his fingers, and you can also, holding the thumb will help calm some of your worry. Again, this represents lung and spleen. You can, how we do the hands together like this, and we connect in the circle, and we jump a cable to one another, which we can all do now if you want, just to demonstrate.
Grateful.
Yeah, Gabriella, you can do this and allow the energy, the jumper cable energy, to come through your solar plexus into your hands, and allow that energy to encircle your friend. You don't have to be too specific. Okay, he's got Parkinson's. I mean, the little finger will help generally, but all the fingers will help any kind of disharmony in the body. And just if it helps you, you can, some people find it helpful to imagine the person being surrounded by spirals of golden light. Maybe that helps, but just allow yourself to breathe out, breathe in, and then allow that energy to go to your friend by name or form if you have a picture of him. And you're jumper cabling him from a distance. If you know any flows of the JIN SHIN, have you done text 1 and text 2? Have you done the practitioner?
No, I've got the books and I'm practicing as I go along and I read. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm a firm believer in holding fingers.
Yeah, so let's keep it simple. Don't get too complex about what you should be doing or could be doing and all this on your friend. Just allow energy to come through you, universal energy to come through you to him. And you can do that, hey, 2 minutes. Often we think we got to do this and we're anxious because we don't think we've done enough. If you tell the mind, I want to give this person, I want to allow my energy to help this person, often it may only be a few minutes that the energy will give the maximum support. In fact, Mary would say in an hour treatment, if you like, I think she said, only about 8 minutes of a treatment are actually doing the most effective work. And I think that is there's a very simple reason for that, because the body is spending a lot of time getting ready to receive. And when you give a JIN SHIN JYUTSU, the person may be very tense. You're placing your hands on their energy locks, and the body has to learn to exhale and relax. And then when you're relaxed and they're relaxed, boom, whatever they need, and it may only be 8 minutes, it may even be less, to help them at that particular time, is allowed to happen. So anxiety, I understand. Worry, I understand. We're concerned. A friend is in need, a friend is in pain. And we can help them by just allowing our jumper cables to send, allow, to receive all the energy that they need from us at that particular moment. And you can choose to do that, any
time of the day.
Well, yes, because the body will pick up any energy that it needs. And if you're intending that to happen, that will help. So
he doesn't need to know that I'm doing it.
He doesn't need to know.
No.
His heart will know. His soul will know, because we pick up when people care about us in our heart and soul. But yeah, just gently allow your jumper cables to serve him and see what happens.
Thank you. Thank you so much. He's in work now because he doesn't want to retire. He's over 70 something. He doesn't want to retire. He's still working. So well, I'm grateful.
That's
and everybody else.
That's all good.
I
So
will carry on.
everybody,
Thank you.
thank you for coming on today on the Thursday. It's always my pleasure and joy to share Jin Shin Jyutsu self-help. And I was talking earlier to Tom that I'm coming up with some ideas for the future, which may involve more than one person coming on to present. So you could say like a panel. It wouldn't be necessarily like a discussion, or it could be. It may just be 4 different practitioners, some who you've met already. And those of you that still haven't greeted us as a presenter, you're welcome to write to me. Just to give you all in one picture, 4 different, quadrants, perspectives. We've had some very, very interesting presentations, I must say. I think totally delightful presentations by a lot of people, and I hope you've enjoyed them as much as I have. And of course, I want them to come back because they've shared with us beautiful insights and energy. And that is, to me, what Jin Shin Jyutsu is about. So think about that, or maybe don't think too much about it. Feel if you want to offer something and let me know. And then we'll gather 3 or 4 of you. There's a biblical quotation, right? Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. What we're actually saying is we increase the energy field. And so 4 different individuals with their energy fields come to share with us. It's an experiment, really, but I hope it'll be something that maybe we can do once a month and give you a little bit more variety. I've also got some other ideas, but we're running out of time, so I won't go into them right now. But I'm also looking at other aspects of healing modalities, because Mary Burmeister, although she was profoundly dedicated to Jin Shin Jyutsu, she occupied some of her time exploring other things, dowsing, I believe, and other aspects. She just chose to focus mainly on Jin Shin Jyutsu. But she had a great compassion, great sense that we can help ourselves in many ways. And she would say, Jin Shin Jyutsu alone cannot necessarily harmonize us. We have to look at what we're thinking, what we're feeding ourselves with, both mentally, physically. So diet, things like that. And understanding the deeper levels of healing. In Jin Shin Jyutsu, the left flows deal with the past, ancestral healing. Oftentimes, a lot of people won't harmonize until their left-sided flows are congruent. That's the deeper level. Now, you may say to me, are you going to start talking about past lives? I don't believe in that. It doesn't matter. Energy moves in spirals, goes to different layers of your being. Whether you believe in something or not is not the point. It's whether you can actually practice certain flows and certain ways of releasing energy, and do they actually help you? And if they do, can't be bad, right? So an invitation to play in the future, something to consider in the future. All right, folks, I better go. And I'm going to put up a replay at some point. And if any of you, still want to go to the animal class and they've still got a place, I would go to the Jin Shin Jyutsu Spirit, Mind, Body website and have a look there. I think they had one place available, but that's where I'll be from tomorrow through Sunday, and I'll report back, see what happens there with the dogs, cats, cattle, ducks, pigs, horses, and all. All right, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the day.